But how will these cues impact our own markets? We have our research team joining in bright and early to tell us just that. This is our Power Prep segment. We'll tell you all about the market setup, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well. Hey guys, a very good morning to all of you. Hormaz, let me come across to you first up. What is the market setup looking like today?
Morning, Sonal, and I'll tell you that the bulls would have definitely had a good night's sleep for sure, considering how the Nifty recovered from the lows yesterday. And not only that, it recovered 200 points from the lows, it did end near the highest point of the day, and that will give the bulls some amount of comfort that although the Nifty implied open is suggesting a slightly subdued start for now, but the recovery on Monday's session was pretty impressive. And if there was a recovery, the Nifty has the banking stocks and the FMCG stocks to thank, and that is, if you pull up the contributors list, you would see it is those stocks that will be the prominent contributors, be it HUL, ITC, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank. All index heavyweights put their hand up and ensured that the index ended in the green in what was otherwise a relatively painful day for the broader markets, even as the mid-cap and the small-cap indices underperformed in yesterday's trading session. The FMCG index itself was the top performer yesterday, with almost every index constituent ending higher, but pressure, yes, remains in the broader markets. The PSU index in particular, that is the one that continues to see some pressure. The index is down almost 10% from the record high levels that it had hit on the 1st of August. So that brings us to some important questions. But before that, we get to the important cues for the day. Is the financial services expiry today, so that will keep the Nifty Bank in focus as well. We'll see if there is some follow-up buying in the Nifty Bank after the recovery that we saw in yesterday's trading session. It is also the IPO rush continues. It's the 4th IPO that opens today, be it PN Gadgil. The four IPOs will be open today, and Amphi data will also be reported, so we'll come to know what the investor sentiment has been across the last month or so. Some now important question being that if there is a bounce on the Nifty in today's session, would that be used as a sell on rallies template, and will the silent sell-off in these PSU stocks continue as well? And as you mentioned, and as I just mentioned earlier, that will the Nifty Bank see some follow-up buying? For now, the implied open is suggesting a subdued start. Some key important levels to watch out for on the Nifty.
Oh yes, it has come up from the highs. The implied open was showing around 44 points higher. Now it's around 26 points. Thank you, Ramaz, for all those cues. Let's talk about all the stocks that will be on our radar today. Vinny has that list. Good morning.
Good morning. So starting with the important order wins that have come overnight, we had Ahluwalia Contractor that's in focus. They backed 2 orders and this is worth around 1,307 crores. Group housing project from Signature Global, so keeping an eye out on this one. HG Infra also has received a 781 crore order. This is from the Ministry of Road and Transport Highway, so keeping an eye out on that. Ease My Trip, that's in focus after the company is to consider multiple acquisition plans that they have, and this will be considered on 13th of September. Important date to watch out for. GMR Airport, that's also in focus. They're set to acquire 10% stake in Delhi International Airport. That is at a price of around 126 million dollars. They will be acquiring this from Frankfurt Airport Services. Do not forget, GMR Airports already hold 64% stake in Delhi International Authority and Airport, so keeping an eye out on that. Lastly, we have IRB Infra, that's also in focus. They have seen a gross toll collection for the month of August, which has seen a rise of 20% on a month-on-month basis, so keeping an eye out on that. Good collections that we're seeing for IRB Infra.
All right, those are some of the stocks that will be on our radar. Thank you, Vinny, for that. Let me go across to Mangnam finally. He's joining in with all the cues from the F&O space. Good morning.
Good morning. So we had pointed out yesterday that, the dip could get bought, and that's exactly what happened. But more importantly, towards the last hour of trade, there was a sharp surge that took place as well. The Nifty ended well above that 24,900 mark. The Nifty Bank as well above that 51,100 mark as well. The key to now track would be the way the mid-cap index and the broader markets perform, because they were underperforming in yesterday's trading session, but did recover from lows by the end of trade as well. The other thing to track will be how the cash market flows pan out too, because yesterday, after a long time, we had both the FIIs and the DIIs buying the cash market together, a purchase of nearly 2,900 odd crores. Importantly, the FIIs in index futures added some short positions, unwound some long positions, nothing really to write home about. And as a result of which their net contracts stand at around 1.56 lakh, which implies a long percentage of 64%, though the clients unwound some of their positions in yesterday's session. But with the up move that we saw in the last hour, put writers got fairly active. 24,900 put added close to around 12.5 lakh shares for a premium of 91 rupees, telling you there would be support around that 24,800 mark as well. We also saw writing at the 24,800 put for a premium of 56 rupees, broadening the support zone to 24,750 to 24,800. However, with the market rallying the way it did in the last hour, those writers of the 25,000 call felt the jitters. They covered their positions. So it's important for the Nifty to sustain above that 25,050 mark to see further short covering on those contracts as well. What are the important levels to watch out for, apart from, the support zone that I spoke about? The 20-day moving average. The Nifty conquered that and stayed above that, as well as saw an uptick. The Nifty Bank took support at the 20-day moving average, conquered that, and thereafter now the level to watch out for on the way up is about 300 points away. It's the 50-day moving average at 51,423. And that will also reflect in the way the financial services index performs today, because it's a Tuesday, the financial services expiry plays out. We were talking about how the FMCG stocks are doing well. In the F&O space, a lot of long positions added on HUL, and some shorts covered their positions on Godrej Consumer, which saw a sharp surge towards the end of trade.
Okay, all right. So that's the F&O setup. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us and telling us what to expect from this trading day ahead.